Hi. Um, my topic is on immigration and a Christian response to immigration. Let me give you a little bit of background, first of all, as to where we're coming from here. We have a family attending our church from Ecuador, a father, a mother, and a son. They've been attending our church for about 2 years. In fact, the son has been a member of our youth group and was baptized by our pastor about a year ago. Last November, the mother was involved in a traffic accident. She says that someone ran a stop sign and ran into her. In the course of the investigation, they discovered that she didn't have a driver's license, and suspecting that she was in the country illegally, they arrested her, took her to the county jail, and in fact discovered that she was here as an undocumented immigrant. She had come on a visitor's visa, and they had overstayed that visa. Within 36 hours, she was turned over to ICE and transferred down to a detention facility in Broward County. The father and the son, who we also found out is here on an expired visa, are still here in Tampa. She is still in Broward County, awaiting deportation. The family has decided that when she is sent back to Ecuador, that they will return to Ecuador and reapply for entrance back into the United States. The caveat is they had come here to the United States so that Christian, their son, who is 10, could get a better education, have a better opportunity for life than they could get in their native country. The average wait time for legal immigration to our country is 10 years, so he will probably miss that opportunity to come to our country. These people were part of our community. They were members of our church for almost 2 years. As I mentioned, Christian, the son, was baptized in our baptistry. The family was loved and respected by our community, and our deacons and our community as a whole has struggled with how to respond to this situation. A lot in our congregation believe that they should be helped as much as we can help them, including offering sanctuary to attempt to keep them here in the country. There are others in our congregation who just as strongly believe that, hey, they're here in our country illegally. They need to go back. They need to apply the right way, come back to our country, as everyone else, as in their mind, comes to our country. And this has caused a bit of a conundrum for us. I noticed that the response was usually driven by personal political beliefs. If the person supported the border wall at the south border, they believed that our family should, while they still loved and respected them, believed should go back to Ecuador and come back the right way. If they did not support the border wall, then they felt that we should be more open and accommodating and more supportive of keeping them here in the country. Both sides quoted scripture to support their belief. The pro-immigration side cited immigration as described throughout scripture. They were very felt that Jesus would stand with the immigrant, with the poor and the immigrants, and would want us to stand up with them. Those who felt that we should be obeying the laws quoted Paul's letter to Romans, specifically chapter 13, that we are all obligated to follow the laws of Rome, and that we do have an obligation to do that. So the question that I'm exploring is, what is a Christian response to our immigrant neighbors? Should we go one way and say, yeah, anybody should come in? Should we make our freedoms available to anyone who wants to come here? Or should we close off the borders and make it extremely difficult for someone to come into our country? Or should there be a middle ground somewhere down the middle? And where should that line be? My main readings for this, the interlocutors, as I guess the instructions called it, or two books that I'm reading. The first one is God and the Illegal Alien by Robert Heimberger. This is a great book. It explores the legal history of immigration to our country, talks about how we came to define immigration, both legal and illegal, and then offers some Christian response to how the church can respond and again navigate that line between welcoming the stranger and yet maintaining our borders. The second book I've been reading is this book by Daniel Carroll, Christians at the Border, which explores immigration, specifically Hispanic immigration through the southern border. Neither of these books, I should comment, say that we should open our borders and offer free immigration to everyone. One of the guiding principles is that our country does have a right and an obligation to track who's coming into our country and to deny access to those who might be dangerous, who might cause our citizens harm. But they also offer observations on how the Scripture would have us respond to the neighbor, specifically in the terms of hospitality, in the terms of working with our government to come up with a border policy that is fair and yet secure. The context again is how can Christians and the church respond faithfully to a community of people, many of whom are Christian, but look different than us, have different customs, different beliefs, but still are looking for a life that maybe only our country, our culture can provide. How can we be faithful to God yet still be respectful to our laws? I mean, after all, the government is charged with knowing who's in our country and protecting us from people. And yet, in the last couple years, we've seen our government use fear to drive the whole immigration debate. Things like MS-13, drugs pouring into our country, immigrants coming in and illegally accessing our social services that they're not paying for, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a difficult scenario, and I guess I'm looking for any experience that you all might have in addressing this situation. Maybe you've experienced the same situation. Maybe you've talked with people that are on both sides of the debate, and I'd be interested in any insight that you might be able to offer on how we can, as Christians, respond in a Christ-like way to this dilemma. Thanks all for your help.